What's up, guys? Real 2K Insider here. It's my first video for NBA 2K26. I'm not sure how much exact roster editing I'm going to be doing this year. 2K really fumbled the bag in terms of their user interface for roster editing. There's a lot of problems when you try to manually edit rosters. So right now I've got my file. I'm probably not going to do a ton of like edits or anything on it until the season starts because they screwed up free agency. If a player hits the free agent pool, it breaks them. I'm going to go over to Al Horford for an example. Al Horford was sitting in the free agent pool until a couple days ago when Kuminga signed, and the Warriors were able to add all the players that were missing. So because he was in the free agent pool, all of these bricked out options cannot be changed. And notice original contract length, this is grayed out, right? And it's set at 0. The only way that you can change a player's contract this year, like adding years or whatever, is if you adjust that number. For example, so years left, 2 years plus the 1 option for Brandon Pajemski, right? If I bump this up to 3, then it actually, I'm sorry, it added it on already. So 4 and then the 5, whatever. So that's an example of how you would change contracts with those players, right? But then we're going to hop into Al Horford again, who is grayed out, right? If I try to adjust his contract, I can't because it's at the 1 year. So if I try to slide this over to 2 years left, 3 years left, etc., can't do it because it's going to immediately go to the 0 because this is locked at 0. So it is impossible to, in fact, it deleted his year 1 salary. Oh my god. But yeah, you can't give him a 2, 3, 4, whatever year contract. And you also can't change his contract type. Can't make him a two-way free agent because he hit the free agent pool. Why is this a problem? Because you can't sign two-way free agents. Here the Warriors have a full 15-man roster, but two ways, right? Pat Spencer is their third two-way player. I don't have Pat Spencer on the Warriors because there's no way to get him on said team. If I try to add any random player to the Warriors, it says that they're maxed out. You can't sign players to a two-way contract from the roster screen, even though two-way contracts have been in the game for what? They've been part of the NBA for 10 years already. Pretty easy fix, I think, but 2K just hasn't done it. And it's really hampering the game because now players are breaking when they hit the free agent pool, which is the only way you can add players. So if I want to add a player on a two-way, right? What would you normally do in this situation? We're going to release such player. We're going to release a player, and then we're going to sign a player, right? Let's give a two-way contract to Drew Tim, who's part of the Brooklyn Nets, but they had a roster max issue, and I figure he's going to end up on a two-way with the Nets, but we're going to put him on the Warriors, and we're going to try to give him a two-way contract. Can't do it. Bricked out. Bricked out. And now because I released Seth Curry to the free agent pool, if he wasn't already bricked out, he's now bricked out. And there's no workaround for that. You can't upload a player's DNA to fix that. I've tried that. We're gonna import, and we're gonna. I don't think using an NBA player really matters. Let's put Jokic instead of Seth Curry, right? Still bricked out. This screen, the contract, is not part of the player's DNA for whatever fucking reason. This is a pretty disgraceful bug that is in the game right now. I'm not gonna lie, and it probably means I'm not gonna be editing rosters all that intensively this season because it's just too many hoops that we're gonna have to jump through in order to edit rosters on consoles. I have a theory on how this is going to be worked around once the season starts. My goal basically is because we can't sign any players right now to two ways. The only thing that we can really do is wait until the season to start and wait for 2K to upload their opening night roster because they can add players to two ways, no problem. Although they're still missing a few guys who've signed, but one would imagine that when the season starts, they will have all of the players. Once each team has 3 two-way players on it, I think I have a workaround in mind where players don't have to hit the free agent pool. Basically, if a team ever waives one of these two-way guys, you can't actually waive them in the game. You have to. I think what I'm gonna have to do is upload a DNA to like overwrite them. Like, let's say Miles Kelly gets waived in camp by the Mavericks. What we're gonna have to do is take Miles Kelly and upload his DNA over somebody in the, let's say Gary Payton II. We're gonna have to upload his DNA over Gary Payton II, and then if Gary Payton II is the player that got added on the two-way, then we're gonna add his DNA to the existing player on the contract. Now, I just want to see something real quick. We're doing all this live, baby. I'm just talking through my thought process. I'm going to import, let's say, Westbrook over Gary Payton II. So now we've got 2 Westbrooks, right? Which one's the original? I'm guessing that Gary Payton II is the two-way guy, right? And okay, so his career stats, that does not get overwritten by the DNA. So even that is not like a super ideal fix. Everything else ports over, but not some of this like data intensive stuff that's like kind of layered into the player ID number that even though we just we applied Westbrook's DNA to Gary Payton II's ID number essentially in 2K, like, which seems maybe a little complicated, but to like understand and explain. But basically, in the 2K roster, each player is assigned like a number, and like let's say starting realistically, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going down the list of each player on each team. So this is like 1 through 18, and then these guys will be 19 down. These guys will be 32 down, or whatever the math is. And then you get to the free agent pool, etc. that even that is like not a great example because I think it's like sequentially in terms of like players that get added each year. So like whoever's the old, so LeBron is the oldest player in the league, right? He has probably the lowest ID number in the game out of anybody else. Whereas like the most recent players, the guys that got drafted, let's say Cooper Flag, his ID number in the roster file is going to be like 10,250, right? And then all of the guys that got added after the draft on like two-way contracts and stuff, who 2K added them in after the fact because they just signed like a week, yesterday or whatever. Those are going to be like ID number 11,000, etc. inside the roster file. So that's why the DNA upload is not a perfect solution. The good news is for like two-way contract guys, those guys are all relatively minor players anyway, so it doesn't really impact much, but it might, once we're swapping player IDs around, things just might get like weird. It could break the roster file at some point. Like, yeah. So I don't know. That's the idea that I have for what we're gonna do this season. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have any ideas? Have you noticed anything that is breaking the rosters in NBA 2K? I know a lot of people are upset about like the gameplay is not great this year. Everybody's greening everything. I don't really have too much of a comment on that. I haven't played a game of 2K in like years, but yeah, it's just not like the demand even for roster content in general is just like it's been a lot lower than past years. I think people are just over the game. They 2K just hasn't kept people's interests for a variety of reasons. Anyway, sorry this is kind of a downer, but yeah, it's just a weird. I've been doing this 23 years, and they've never released roster editing completely bugged.